the opening address of this event. And for that, I would like to call on stage our honorable speaker for the opening address, Mr. Nitin Dutta, Financial Services and Insurance Business Head from SAS India, who would be delivering the honorable opening address to start the inaugural session of the 8th Annual India Insurance Summit and Awards 2024. A big round of applause to Mr. Nitin Dutta, Financial Services and Insurance Business Head from SAS India. Nitinji, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. A very warm good morning to all my fellow delegates here. It's a privilege and honor to welcome you all to the 8th edition of India Insurance Summit and Awards. And before I start, I want to make a disclaimer. Nothing that I want to talk today has been touched by generative AI. It's all human intelligence. So please excuse me if it lacks the machine finish. Now, I have been associated to insurance as a sector on behalf of SAS and other organizations for the last 16 years, and I've seen this industry up close. And I don't see a better time to be part of this industry where we shoulder the, I would say, responsibility to meet the insurance needs of the 5th largest and the fastest growing economy globally. And as what happens to any object which moves very fast and has a great mass, it gets acted upon by multiple forces. And so is happening to this particular industry. And some of, I would say, the largest one of them being the changing geopolitical, economic, social, and the climate or the environmental fabric of the world that we kind of live in. And while that is not the subject of this event, so I'll not talk about it, but then the other forces being the technology disruptions that are happening, not only restricted to the areas like Gen AI and data and so on, but also in terms of 3D printing, in terms of EVs, telematics, some of the more homegrown technology disruptions like ONDC, ABHA, and so on are continuously bringing new avenues and new challenges to the industry. And while these technology disruptions are helping us find solutions to a lot of problems that we want to solve for, it also has a darker side. We all are aware of the challenges that deepfakes, cyber threats, and how fraudsters are becoming more sophisticated with these technologies. The other being the changing aspiration or changing expectations of us as customers. Now, if I take myself as an insurance customer, I would want to have the buying experience of insurance like I make a playlist on Netflix. And the claim experience should be like UPI. Are we there? Answer is no. But the industry, as I talk to the industry leaders, I very clearly see there are, I would say, initiatives being taken to kind of reach there. And lastly, but the most, I would say, pressing change or the force of change is the changing regulatory fabric. Be it IFRS 17, which is going to change the way we recognize our revenue, the way we measure profits in the industry, or the changing regulations around Gen AI, data privacy, outsourcing norms. They're going to change the way we build and deploy data products in our organizations. And what these forces are leading the industry to be in is a constant state of disruption. At once upon a time, this transformation was thought to be a project, but today it's a program, it's a continuous journey. And while these transformations are happening and we are changing, the challenges of costs and margins continue to hound us. We are all fighting for shortage of skills. Now, in this entire landscape, very clearly what we see is we have the problem of plenty. We have plenty of programs to run. We have plenty of options to explore. And when I meet some of you, in fact, when I've met, the expression that I get is, today it feels like we are trying to change the wheels of a moving train, and this train is moving at a very fast pace. Now, as I look at the agenda for the next 2 days, I see it is very well curated to bring forth, I would say, viewpoints and next practices on some of these, I would say, changes that we are trying to bring in to our enterprises. And this event provides an excellent platform for all of us to discuss, debate, engage, and find how we can solve some of these problems for you. And while it happens so in the next 2 days of this session, at SAS, with our pedigree of 46 years of having used data to find some of the business problems, I would want to leave you with 2 frameworks that we use internally to find such solutions. And one of them is, how do we kind of accelerate our data to decisions journey? Now, this is a framework that primarily maps the entire life cycle of how do we take data, how do we ask the questions. The most important aspect of this particular framework is, how do we ask a question? Let's take an example of fraud. Now, if we are saying that which claim or which event in my enterprise is fraudulent, if we look at it, we primarily look at all the data that we have, we kind of generate the insight. But what gets left out is, how do we take that insight and deploy it? More often than not, we see that it is deployed as a score saying that, okay, this particular event has this probability of being risky. But if you really go and ask an insurer, the word does not end there, because as per law, you are innocent until proven guilty. So investigation is the key role, plays the key role. Now, and then if we look at this particular framework, and then we say, okay, I want to deploy insight, what it actually means is, if we are saying that this particular event is risky, it has to be corroborated with all the facts to make it usable for the business user to say that, okay, I have this much confidence to trust this insight. Same goes with customer engagement. I want to engage with the customer well. What do I do to engage with the customer well? Do I just make an offer to him? Or do I really create an engagement where I try to take all the data that I have about the customer, put it through this entire framework and say that, okay, I believe I need to have a conversation with him on this subject. It may not be for making an upsell offer or a cross-sell offer, but maybe to give him some input, some advice that I have from the larger insurance or the data that I have from peer groups. So this is one framework that we use across all our projects, all our programs. And as we kind of look at a particular technology framework to kind of meet or rather answer this question, we always have a lot of choices. Choices in terms of offers that we can make, choices in terms of solutions that we have for the solution. Now, the idea is, how do we orchestrate between choices in terms of talent, choices in terms of data that we want to use, choices in terms of analytical techniques, choices in terms of the programming language that we want to use. And But those choices have to be kind of governed with control in terms of scalability, privacy. We are a regulated enterprise. How do we kind of secure the data? How do we deploy? How do we govern the insight? So balancing between choice and control is equally critical. So these are the two frameworks that we internally use and we prescribe to our customers to kind of use it, and I'm leaving with you. And with that, I hope we all can engage and work towards finding some very interesting solutions to the pressing needs that we have. Thank you all. Have a great event.
Thank you so much, Nitin, for that wonderful start of the day. And now I would like to call on stage Mr. Anand Joshi, Chief Financial Officer from Zuno General Insurance, to kindly do the honors of felicitating our inaugural speaker, Mr. Nitin Dutta. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Nitin Dutta, Financial Services and Insurance Business Head from SAS India, for that wonderful opening address to start the proceedings of the 8th Annual India Insurance Summit and Awards 2024.